Has Cam Newton made you a believer this preseason?
I mean, I've always been a big believer in Cam, and I think he's one of the best players to ever play the game. However, I think Mac Jones is going to be the guy that the Patriots lean on. And the reason why is because I believe they have a deja vu feeling when they see Mac Jones under center. They have seen this offense run a certain way for the last 20 years when they had Tom Brady, and I believe there's a comfort to that. When I look at the way this team is constructed, powerful offensive line, big-time running back, I mean, a deep, talented stable of running back, and a defense that looks like he can play at a lights-out level. The only thing they need is the quarterback to be a game manager, meaning make good decisions, get the ball to the playmakers, and allow them to work. I saw this formula work in the early 2000s when the Patriots won 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. I believe they believe that this is the best way for them to get back to being a team that is a perennial contender.
Disagree with you, Bucky, right here. Look, Cam Newton, big believer in Cam Newton. This preseason, Cam Newton had a good preseason. Mac Jones had a great preseason. What did that do? That allowed him to close the gap on Cam Newton, but still not trump Cam Newton in terms of being a starter for this team. Let's talk about this situation, and let's be real about it. Since Mac Jones is now good, we're going to make the Patriots situation seem bad. Why? Because we have a high insurance net. We have a high safety net in Mac Jones, who is now a starter type kind of player, but at the same time, not the one that's going to take over for the Patriots. So since he's so close to Cam Newton, now we want to make this controversial. Now we want to look at this situation differently instead of just the way it was, the way that Bill Belichick said it. Cam Newton is our starter. Must I continue to always state that when you know that Cam Newton is our starter? But we now have a great situation in terms of 2 quarterbacks that we can trust, 2 quarterbacks that we can count on, and 2 quarterbacks that will be in contention when we go out there week 1. But it's still Cam Newton as the starter. Why? Because the Patriots like to run the football. It's built on running the football and playing proper defense. Now, if you have a quarterback back there that's not mobile, is that going to help you run the football? Don't forget about Cam Newton last year and having his 12 rushing touchdowns. That comes into play on top of him still being an accurate passer of the football. You add all that up and the second year in a system in terms of maturity, in terms of continuity, in terms of understanding, it's Cam Newton's job, and he's going to be the starter week 1.
Yeah, it's not that I'm not a believer in Cam Newton. However, this offseason and this preseason, he's presented opportunity for a player in Mac Jones to literally put into question whether or not he is your outright guy. And you have to be mindful of that. But the thing that I agree with you with, Marcellus, is Cam Newton is just your guy because of all of that he provides in the run game and in the passing game. Now, last year, I was hard on Cam Newton, and because of the tape showed he wasn't good in the passing game. It even looked and appeared that he possibly was still injured. This preseason, he's looked good when he was asked to throw the ball. We know what he can do running the football. He's run the offense well. He spent time in the offseason. All those questions that were questioned last year, that were concerns that were brought up as why Cam Newton wasn't successful or having the success that we thought he could continue having pre the COVID situation last year, he erased them with his performance. Now, Mac Jones has had a great preseason, but he hasn't shown enough to where he has just outright sold to this Patriots team or to myself that he is just your guy, no questions asked. There's a couple other things that I think we have to weigh, or we don't have to weigh them. I think Bill Belichick is weighing the mindset. If you start Mac Jones, what does that do to the psyche of Cam Newton? Do you still have him moving forward? If anything were to happen to Mac Jones, if barring injury, do you still have Cam Newton all in on what we're trying to accomplish because he was not outright your starter? If you have Cam Newton, you know you have Mac Jones to go to if anything were to happen. So I think you have to start with Cam Newton because he doesn't present any reason for you not to.
Oh, I mean, if you want to get better. So, here's the thing, and this is what I do, and I hate to take it behind the scenes, but here's what happens in front offices, and I know you guys hate front office guys. So what happens, we got a young Greg Jennings, we have a young Marcellus Wiley, and we're looking at the young guys going against the vets. And what happens if it's close, the tie goes to the younger guy. So now in New England, here's what you have. Hey, we can start the clock with this rookie quarterback. He's a first-round pick. If we start him, we get a jump start on what we believe is our Super Bowl window with a rookie quarterback in place. And I like Cam, but Cam hasn't separated himself from Mac Jones. So now if you're Bill Belichick and you're the front office staffers, you're beginning to squint and you're seeing a path for this team to still be a Super Bowl team with the young guy getting valuable reps. And so because of that, I think Cam Newton opened the door. And once that door is cracked, I feel like Mac Jones has burst through. And now the Patriots coaching staff is trying to figure out, when do we start this clock? Because what you guys are talking about is, well, we don't want to hurt Cam's feelings if we sit him down. And, you know, how is he going to handle this or whatever? But this isn't youth football. This isn't Pop Warner. This is the big boys game. And because it's close, if they feel like Mac Jones gives them a chance to win, I think you got to start the young guy. Go ahead and get it going right now with the young guy at the center.
Nah, Bucky, you ain't going to try and lump us together. One, Greg and I didn't totally agree on that conversation. I'm going to get to the psyche layer of what Greg was talking about in a second. But, Bucky, you can't just come out here and say it's deja vu in terms of the Tom Brady success and that model, and now they see it in Mac Jones. For whatever reason, the variables were different for Tom Brady, but he didn't start year one under Belichick in that system. Now, obviously, he had a $100 million man in front of him in Drew Bledsoe, who wasn't winning a ton of games at that time, but still was Drew Bledsoe. So it's different variables. But sitting Tom Brady and then allowing him to learn that system obviously proved dividends. Let's talk about this situation in terms of psyche, because I'm not with Greg in terms of psyche and taking care of Cam Newton. Cam Newton is on a one-year deal. He's on a prove-it deal. We've all been there before or seen teammates that are on prove-it deals. They're on their best behavior. No matter what you do to them, they will respond properly because he is trying to resurrect not only his NFL life, but his chances as a starter going elsewhere because he knows the writing's on the wall. This is Mac Jones' team going forward. So I'm not with him there. I'm just saying Cam Newton's a better playmaker right now for your team. Cam Newton's a better quarterback, ever so slightly, but a better quarterback right now than Mac Jones. If you look at two things about their counting numbers and their stats that jumps out to me, it's not so much the completions and attempts, because you see Mac Jones was out there 17 drives versus Cam Newton. But then if you look at how many times they were sacked, Cam Newton wasn't sacked at all. And Mac Jones was sacked 5 times. This is a good New England Patriots offensive line that is known for its run blocking. So that allows Cam Newton to be a better playmaker in part with the run offense. But in passing situations, you know how it goes. The speed of the game is just different from the collegiate level to the pro level, and certainly from the preseason to the regular season. Right now, Mac Jones is looking good as a rookie, but still not seeing it at the same speed as a veteran. So you add all that up, the playmaking ability, the continuity in the system, the fact that this offense is built with its offensive line to run the football. All of those are assets for Cam Newton more so than Mac Jones.
Yeah, I want to focus on the preseason and the level of play that these guys have both went up against. It's not what Cam has seen in over his career, as Marcellus is alluding to, playing as a starter in the National Football League, in regular season games, in the playoffs, and so on and so forth. Mac Jones, it's different under the lights. And you both have played under the lights. When those lights get bright, we see guys fold. We see guys stand up, chest proud, ready to ride. We don't know that. That is an unknown. Yes, you would like to believe that Mac Jones has that factor that to rise to the occasion, but we know Cam does. We know for certain Cam has that. So why would we even question? Why would we even try to jeopardize a game, if not 2 games, a quarter? Bill Belichick is all about doing your job and putting the best 11 that gives us a chance to win on the field at all times. In this moment, right here out the gate, they may be very well close in the race. But if Cam Newton has won the race, he's won the race. Either it's a tie and we just flip a coin, or Cam Newton has won or Mac Jones has won. And right now, Cam Newton has won. If he were given the same opportunity under the same experience or the same timetable, the same amount of drives with the same personnel, yes, it's Cam Newton. And you have to be able to rely on experience when you're talking about week one, because there's going to be a lot of things that are thrown at you that you have not seen in the preseason when we're talking about week one football.
Hey, look, Greg, I think that's a great point. I think it's a great point. You talk about the difference in speed between preseason and regular season and those things. But to Marcellus's point about the Drew Bledsoe situation and Tom Brady, let me remind you, Drew Bledsoe left the door open. It wasn't his fault that Mo Lewis knocked him into next week and put him on the sideline, and Tom Brady got a chance to drive the offense, and Bill Belichick got a chance to see what the offense looked like, and he liked it so much that he kept Tom Brady in as the starter when Drew Bledsoe returned. This reminds me of a situation when Cam had to sit out those 5 days for COVID, and they got a chance to see Mac Jones, not only in practice and in joint practices against the Giants, but then in the game, they saw him perform well. And it reminds us, remember, because we all got old, and we all had that situation where we were about to run on the field, and the coach grabbed us and said, "Oh, wait. Let me see this. Let me see this rotation right quick. Let me see young fella in here with the rotation." When they start doing that, your days are numbered. So look, the clock might not dwindle before regular season game one, but it's ticking, and Mac Jones is going to take over this tune sooner rather than later.
Nah, don't try and now qualify it sooner rather than later. First it was week one, now it's like sooner rather than later. look at you. You starting to back up. I hear the beeps in the background. Beep, beep.
No,
Bucky.
No. Mac Jones.
Mac Jones? No way. Look, Bill Belichick by nature is conservative, right? Cam Newton went out there, only had 7 drives with the starters, and then Mac Jones was playing 17 drives with the backups. And I told you before, Mac Jones got sacked 5 times. Who got the doorbell? Somebody got that money? That's that rich. Somebody, Greg, yeah. You're on your 4th or 5th story, and you can't get to the door. Greg got that money. Helicopter money. Go ahead and get that Amazon. Pick it up. But back to this point. Bill Belichick's conservative by nature. He's not playing his starters, but he's letting his backups go out there and show and prove. 17 drives versus 7 drives. Okay, 5 sacks for Mac Jones versus 0 for Cam. Here's the kickers, these last 2. How many touchdowns thrown by both guys, despite having different levels in terms of pass attempts? 1 touchdown for Mac Jones, 1 touchdown for Cam Newton. Think about that. 17 drives, you get double the work, almost triple the work to me, and you only got 1 touchdown, and I have 1 touchdown. And more importantly, Cam Newton didn't have 1 rush attempt this entire preseason. Wait a minute. So we're being conservative with him. We're not letting him use his strong suit, at least last year it was, which is running the football. And he has the same amount of passing touchdowns as his backup. Look, Mac Jones is out there balling. He's playing well, but just not well enough.
Look, Bucky, you continue to talk about the door being open. And yes, we can compare it to the Drew Bledsoe, the Tom Brady situation, but there is truly no comparison when you talk about the situation. Like, we saw Tom Brady, Bill Belichick saw Tom Brady in a game, a meaningful game, that he's proved he could run this offense and it still looked great. He wasn't shaken. There was poise in the regular season when it mattered most. This is not what we can compare when it comes to Mac Jones. All the reports are going to be, oh, he looked great in joint practice against the Giants. Come on, how many this late in the preseason? How hard are we really going in preseason? Matter of fact, in training camp practices, guys are sore. There's a lot of guys removed for practice. There's not really that ones against ones. We don't see that often. We typically see ones versus twos. So let's be real. Yes, he's going to look good. Yes, he's going to be put in situations where he can get rid of the ball, and he's going to allow the offense to progress and look like they have a scheme that really works against the New York Football Giants. But let's not mistake it for Sunday and light on Monday night or Thursday night football. This is completely different. And when you are going into a game, week 1, against a divisional opponent, an opponent that, yes, Bill Belichick wants to beat. Why? Because there's relationship. There's some tension there with a coach that wants to win against Bill Belichick, that Bill Belichick wants to fend off. And let's not forget Bill Belichick's record against rookie quarterback starters. why would he put himself in the position now to have a rookie starting and not exposing him to his entire playbook and being up at his most comfort level when it comes to offensive plays? You're not going to do that. Cam Newton has been here. Marcellus, you talked about this all last year.
Yes,
and
sir.
I wasn't trying to hear it because I wasn't defending Cam in that moment. But he wasn't there all last year. He's been there all year, all offseason. He missed those days. Yes, opportunity presented itself for Mac Jones, but it wasn't enough. And it hasn't enough to erase what they've seen all offseason, the rapport, the camaraderie, all the time vested that Cam put in. He deserves and he has earned the right to be the starter.
See, I think you guys are missing out on my point. My point was, this is deja vu. They've seen this before. And the reason why I tell you they've seen this before is because they saw Tom Brady do the same thing. And I'm not saying that Mac Jones is Tom Brady, but I'm going to give you some numbers because I know you guys like facts over feelings. So here's what I'm going to say. Tom Brady, when he was a starting quarterback, Tom Brady only averaged 189.5 passing yards that first year when they went 11-3. His passer rating was only 80.5. We don't think Mac Jones can put up that kind of pedestrian production at passes. I mean, we saw Cam Newton do that last year, but the difference is the team is better. Elite offensive line, much better defense, running game is stable. Bill Belichick knows, hey, I don't have to put it all on the young fella. The only thing I need the young fella to do is not turn the ball over. We've already said Mac Jones is accurate, he's efficient, he's effective, and soon he's going to be the Patriots starter. Don't be mad, Marcellus. Don't be mad. Mac Jones is the starter.
Nah. The Pats have it good, and you trying to spin it to make it a bad situation. He's going to have to wait his turn, just like Tom Brady. You're right, deja vu in that sense. Tom Brady had to sit there for a year plus before he got his opportunity. Cam did not leave the door open, and hopefully, Greg, you didn't either. If not, the Amazon dude upstairs somewhere, tearing your nutter butters up.